Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett is in the house. Glad to have you. What's happening? Look, you always go somewhere. I don't even know what city you in on the given day. I got tracked you on Instagram. So where you at now?
I'm still in the city until the morning.
Gotcha. All right. You still in the wildlands of D.C. All right. We were just talking about, again, how it's so important to walk people through what's really in this bill and how they're going to get screwed. We showed a video yesterday or a couple of days ago, you doing that as well. And that has to be the constant strategy of Democrats. Hammer, hammer, hammer. And even go on Fox News to do it. Their own poll is showing this bill ain't popular.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think that, when we do communication, we have to figure out who is best suited to do what. We've seen some very effective communicators from our party go on to Fox News. And if you are effective when it comes to that very hostile and non-truth environment, then I think it absolutely is a good place to put those voices, especially right now. Listen, there are those that want to make it seem like it's partisan, or they want to make it seem as if this is anti-Trump, when really this is pro-American and this is pro-democracy to push back. And I think the more that we can couch this in the terms of hurting the people and hurting all people, urban as well as rural, Black, white, brown, yellow, I think the better we will be. But so long as people believe that this is just us going against Trump, I think that we'll fail.
Absolutely. And look, you even have Republicans who are praising how Mamdani ran his race by saying he kept focusing on cost, affordability, access. That's the stuff that was resonating with people across the board. And I think by doing that, by saying, hey, this bill gets passed, your cost's going to go up. You're going to be, the rich gets more. You're going to get less. And they are taking things away from you that Americans, especially a lot of broke red states, need.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I'm glad that you brought up the race in New York, because it's been quite disgusting, the things that have resulted from his win. Listen, I don't really care who you supported. I mean, half of these people didn't even participate as it relates to this mayoral. But the idea that it's okay to go out and do all types of hateful things just because this is someone who's Muslim, I think that we all have to stand together and denounce that. I mean, we have freedom of religion in this country, and so many have decided that they would attack him or his religion simply because they don't want to talk about his substance, the things that you're talking about, the things that actually potentially won him the election, talking about affordability. They want to continue to distract with their hate and their inflammatory rhetoric. And I think that we all have to tell them that no, not on our watch, and focus on us. Stop focusing on all these nonsensical attacks that have nothing to do with whether or not the person is qualified to do the job. Ultimately, I think that if he is going to win the general election, it will be because he continues to focus on the people. Anybody that decides that they want to focus on things such as his religion or the fact that he's not necessarily born here, then I think that those people are going to lose. I just think that the average American is tired of the nonsense and wants people that are looking out for them and whether or not they are going to survive Trump 2.0. And right now, a lot of people are finding out that Trump 2.0 is not 2.0 because it's an upgrade, but instead it's a downgrade.
This is also why, again, where you go, how you communicate, all those things are important. Listen, there are some people in the Democratic Party, in the U.S. House, they don't like your style. They don't like your tone. They said the exact same thing about Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the same thing about Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley, Katie, escaping me right now.
Porter.
Katie Porter. We can go, same thing. And here's the reality. What people, and I get this wherever I go. People are looking for someone who's a fighter. And there are people even on the right who say, hey, I may not agree with your policies, but hey, you're out there fighting, and this is not a time to play it safe, to do the usual Washington, D.C., oh no, my gentle colleague, all that nonsense. They ain't trying to hear that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, one reason that Fox News is obsessed with me, even though I'm never on there, but I'm always on there, is because they are trying to telegraph to their own followers, because I actually break through even to Republicans. And I think that that is what's so scary for them. It's not whether or not Democrats like me, it's whether or not Republicans like me. And frankly, anybody that is fighting and is just laying it out. You know, I am known for really bringing the receipts. I'm known for making sure that I back up what I say with the facts. It kind of ends up being kind of irrefutable. And that's what people are looking for right now. I just read a quote from one of the candidates in the mayoral in New York, and he said, right now, the fight in the Democratic Party isn't about, you know, progressive versus conservative Democrats. It's actually the fighters versus those that will fold. And I think that that's absolutely right. I think that the fight isn't necessarily specifically over the policies so much as it is over who it is that people believe are actually fighting for them.
Talked about Fox going after you. Trump really can't stand you. He can't stand that. And he placed a call to the governor of Texas saying, can't you change those congressional lines to get rid of that black woman? That ain't what he said, but that's pretty much what he said. They want to change the congressional lines to get rid of your district, which is going to be a little hard to get around Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, because you are kicking us behind, which says that means you're getting under Donald Trump's skin.
Yeah, this is one of the most alarming things that hasn't really been put out into the atmosphere, is that Donald Trump knows that he's deeply unpopular, but he doesn't care. And so he remembers what happened in his first term when he only had the House during that first half of his term. So instead of allowing the people to rise up like the people most likely are planning to do so that the Democrats can take over the House, he's decided that he wants to go after multiple seats in the House as it relates to Texas. The first two phone calls that I got from the House, this is while they were still in session, and this was before any reporting had come out, was that he wanted to come after myself and Al Green. Ultimately, once reporting started to come out, it said that he wanted to try to squeeze out an additional 5 seats. We only have 13 Democratic seats in the state of Texas right now to 25 Republican seats, which is completely skewed and gerrymandered as it is. And so, yeah, this is his little project to hopefully hold on to the House, the same like he did in North Carolina. And he's also planning to go after Ohio as well, and targeting 2 women there in the state of Ohio. So people need to wake up and understand that, like, ultimately, if we don't have the numbers, it's not because we're not out here working. It's not because we're not trying to win. But when the system is rigged against you, there's only so much that you can do. So it'll be interesting to see what some of our blue state governors decide to do, whether or not they decide to push back and say, hey, 2 can play this game. If you want to sit up here and try to play with those Democrats that are in red states, then we can play with the Republicans that are in blue states. So we'll see ultimately how this kind of shakes out. But he's already called a special session in the middle of July, I believe around like July 15th. And we will find out whether or not he's going to put redistricting on the call.
We talk about, again, gifts from, or I call it manna from heaven, the gifts being given. Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell gave Democrats, I think, a really great gift when he was asked the question about Medicaid cuts in his home state. This is literally what the senior senator from Kentucky, the man who was the Senate Majority Leader, said. They'll get over it.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a thing for somebody to say who has guaranteed health care for life and has a platinum health care plan That's far different than a lot of those broke conservative people in Kentucky.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to wonder. I mean, they're saying the quiet part out loud nowadays, right? Like, for a long time, their policies have harmed those that they are supposed to serve. But they have gotten to the point that they are down with saying, listen, I'm here to be your gravedigger. I am not here to serve you. I am not here to represent you. I am not here to do what is going to be best for you and your family. Instead, I'm going to just go ahead and help to put you 6 feet deep. And ultimately, listen, if you're down with that, if you believe that like making that sacrifice is what you should do in this country, then so be it. I look at service a little differently. And so I'm going to keep pushing the real truth out there about how harmful it is and explain that I am against this because I know that the people that elected me from Texas 30 and sent me to DC, that they are against it because that's someone's mother. That's someone's grandmother, uncle, father, sister, brother, child. And so I think that it is completely contradictory to this idea that this is the party that is of Christian values. No, you're not. This is the party that is pro-life. No, you're not. Listen, when it comes to being a Christian, it's not what you say, it's what you do. It is through the actions that we interpret whether or not someone is actually Christian. And I don't know what is least Christian about these folks, whether it is trying to act like, women should not have access to the healthcare that they need, or if it's literally just ripping away healthcare at all or for all people in the name of helping out those that truly do not need a leg up.
To that particular point, Nicholas Kristof had this story here, his column in the New York Times. He talked about how all the food subsidies being cut by the United States. He said a child dies of malnutrition every 15 seconds as 185,535 boxes of special food for starving children are stacked in a warehouse in Rhode Island, paid for by American taxpayers. After shutting USAID, the Trump administration is just sitting on the boxes. And I have said before numerous times, these people are not pro-life. They are anti-abortion, but they as sure as hell are not pro-life, and they are not lovers of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, I mean, most people did not understand, and I think that a lot of people still don't understand how the vast majority of our aid works, whether we're talking about USAID or whether we're talking about aid that we send over, say, military aid or anything like that. We usually don't go dropping bags of money, right? What we do is we contract with those that are here in our country and we spend that money with people here so they're able to make money. We're then able to tax that money, right? So we're technically getting some of that money back and then we are then sending that overseas. So whether we're talking about defense contracts, because when we do things, we don't just say, oh yeah, you can have certain weapons. Like we send those weapons from the United States and we send them over. We don't give people access to our secrets and things like that. Same thing with the food. What happened is most people didn't understand is that we were buying food from local farmers and that's where the money was going. And then they would send the food overseas. But unfortunately, the farmers lost out as well as the people that were supposed to be on the receiving end. Essentially, all we did was commit this great waste in the age of let's get rid of, waste and fraud and abuse. I think everything about the way that this administration has operated has not only been wasteful, but fraudulent and abusive. And I hope that the American people are waking up. We heard testimonies of various farmers that decided to go out there publicly and talk about the harm that was being done. As someone who served on the Ag Committee, I can tell you that I've been on my fair share of farms. And this idea that we continue to keep people divided, we should not. If the farmer is surviving in rural America, then that very well means that we are surviving no matter if we're in urban, rural, or suburban America because we're able to eat. we should want our farmers to survive. And our farmers should want us to make sure that we're making the investments in things such as SNAP benefits, because that means that that grocery store is going to buy food from them. That means that the people that are going to the grocery store are going to be able to buy the food. The issue is that we have allowed ourselves to be divided at every step of the way instead of understanding that we need each other to survive.
Last question. You sought the House Oversight Committee ranking member seat. Democrats chose Congressman Robert Garcia. I opened this talking about your constant travel, doing all kind of stuff, traveling the country, raising money, being away from home, all those sort of different things. And then you got folks on Capitol Hill, people in your own party saying, oh, she's not a team player, which is sort of weird if you are going on behalf, speaking in people's districts. They're asking you to come in. They're asking you to donate. You raise a lot of money. You donate it to others. So it had to be upsetting to hear people say you're not a team player. And so what focus now? Because obviously people still want you, media folks always calling you left and right. But that's a hell of a thing to say when your track record says, I've helped a lot of people out with money, time, and energy.
Yeah, I want people to know that, like, I mean, when you're in politics in general, like, I mean, everything is a competition, number one. And number two, you know, somebody's got to lose. I mean, clearly there was only one spot. And so I do want to clear the air on this idea that, like, this is about a win or loss. For me, it's more so just some of the things that were said that were really disheartening in this race, right? And the only thing that I really wanted my colleagues to do is to make an assessment of who could be effective in this moment. And ultimately, if the caucus would have been like, yo, like, person X is like most effective in this moment, then that's one thing, right? It was just kind of some of the other stuff that was being said that was really, really disheartening for me. But at the end of the day, I am still the vice ranking member on oversight. I am still someone who sits on that committee. And so I am going to do what I need to do on oversight. I'm going to do what I need to do on judiciary. And it's just clear that, you know, leadership specifically, because I decided not to push it to the full caucus because of the message that elected and appointed leadership decided to send by the number of votes that, you know, I was given, even though I had more commitments than that going into the leadership meeting. So I said, okay, it's cool. Like, y'all sent a message that y'all aren't really open to working with me. And so I read the message loud and clear. And so for me, though, I think about the fact that there's a lot of time that I have missed in the state of Texas in general. And so I'm not going anywhere, but I am going to move a little differently. I think that working with people like my pastor, Pastor Freddie Haynes, or working with Pastor Jamal Bryant, or working with Bishop Jackson, or like there's so many others. I think that I'm going to dig into like what I'm doing specifically with my advocacy and partnering up with those that are in the Black faith community, making sure that they have access to the information that they need. I think that I'm also going to dig in at the state level instead of kind of spreading myself thin, not getting enough rest because I'm constantly on flights. I've got well over 2 million miles because I have kind of been going and going. So, you know, we've got these statewide elections that are going to take place in Texas. And so I think that those candidates can use me across the state of Texas to hopefully get us to some kind of wins. So I'm going to dig in more locally as well as kind of the Black faith community. That's probably where I'm going to expend a lot of my resources and my energy. All right, then. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, we appreciate it. Long week. Get some rest. Yeah, thank you.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. The window to invest in Fanbase is closing. We've raised over $10.6 million of our $17 million goal. That means there's room for less than 6,370 people to invest in Fanbase for the average amount. The minimum to invest in Fanbase right now is $399. That makes you an owner in Fanbase today. Go to startengine.com/fanbase to invest. Why? because current social apps have taken advantage of users for far too long, with content suppression, shadow banning, harmful racist content, and no real tools for monetization and equity. Fanbase has over 1.4 million users and counting, allowing anyone to reach all their following and monetize their content from day one. Social media is the new TV, and whoever owns the apps that distribute that content have the opportunity to own potential billion-dollar companies. While big platforms with uncertain futures are failing to serve their users, Fanbase is stepping up to fill the gap. Don't wait until it's too late. Invest now, invest for yourself and your future. Go to startengine.com/fanbase and own the next generation of social media.